Oh my goodness, can you believe we're only 4 days away from the April 2nd Switch 2 blowout, or 96 hours? So, as you probably know, we're doing a countdown series where every day we discuss a different topic about the Switch 2, and this time, I want to talk about the future of 3D Mario. Personally, the thing that speaks to me the most, and to do that, I brought on a fellow Mario expert, being Jordan Miner, the senior analyst at PC Magazine, along with author of Video Game of the Year. You can see that behind Jordan right now. Plus, yeah, there it is. I love how colorful that is. That's great. And it looks really good. Also, I believe you're author of another upcoming book, which is pretty apt for this discussion.
Yeah, my next book, you may see announced a couple weeks ago. I'm working on a book about Super Mario Galaxy for Boss Fight Books, a very cool indie publisher who does entire books about single video games. So that's coming out later this year, my Super Mario Galaxy book.
I've read several of not your books, but that series of books rather, and they've all been great so far. So I'm so excited for yours, and not just because I may be in it in some form. So
spoilers.
I'm sorry.
We're still editing. There's still time to cut you.
All right. Beyond that, though, so I want to talk about what we expect of Mario, the next 3D Mario, the next major 3D Mario on Switch 2, and that begins with: do you think we'll even see it at the Switch 2 event? Will it appear here? What do you think, Jordan?
Absolutely. It's been, almost a decade since Mario Odyssey. That was the last one we saw, really. And they're not above, at these kind of console launches, they're not above showing games that are maybe, still a bit ways out to kind of build hype. But that's, their big flagship game. I think that's, one of the safest bets you can make. I don't think it's a launch title necessarily, but I think it being there is, guaranteed.
I fully agree. I think it seems like Nintendo's almost trying to emulate the Switch 1 release as closely as they can, both in the timing and everything, only being a few months off, and just everything else, because it worked once before, why wouldn't it work again? And so I think, like the first time, they will show off 3D Mario here, but as you said, it won't release until possibly later in the year. I think, again, holidays, because it's a great time to give the Switch 2, another boost, as we enter the holiday season, and what game is there better to do that than, a major Mario title? So I guess we should, with us both thinking it will be here, because again, I think it needs to be. I think everyone's excited to see what that is. What is it going to be? Do you think it's going to be something entirely new? Could it be a sequel to an existing game like Galaxy, the Galaxy series, or Odyssey most recently, or actually really most recently would be the 3D World series, and Bowser's Fury more accurately. So what do you think? What are you hoping for?
I would love a Galaxy 3, only because it would probably boost sales of my book. But I doubt it'll be a sequel to an existing series. Last time we saw them do that, I guess 3D Land, 3D World, sort of. But like a numbered sequel was Galaxy, and they talked pretty specifically about how they were just so overflowing with ideas for that game that it just kind of became that. I think that this is a new game. I think this is their next generation Mario for their next gen platform. I don't think they would have taken this long to just make a numbered sequel to an existing game. So I think it'll be something entirely new.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with you. For a while, I had assumed there would be an Odyssey 2 at some point, and that didn't happen. And I almost think, too, I don't even know if Odyssey would even fully fit with what they think of Mario as these days. Because Odyssey was kind of a weird game, right? I loved it. But the whole, the whole bias-snatching thing, a little weird for Mario.
No, for sure, and I love that quality about it. But that weirdness. But I think the opportunity for a new game is to kind of have a different kind of weirdness. We don't want to see something that was so fresh kind of become formulaic.
That's a great point. Exactly. I think this really is a time for something new, something that 3D Mario hasn't quite done, or at least to the extent that they may be in this one, whatever that actually is. So what I'm personally hoping for, and I have a few ideas for what this could be, but I do think I'm agreeing with you. It's going to be something kind of pretty much new, or at least much more expansive than it ever has been before. And I think Bowser's Fury, kind of, the addition to 3D World on Switch, it kind of gave us an early taste of that, where that game was, a singular, largely open world that, expanded over time. And I think they're going to do something similar to that for the next 3D Mario, next major 3D game, because I just think that's kind of the next logical step. It's just having, a giant, like kind of interconnected world. Like there'll still be different regions. It may not be open in the same sense Breath of the Wild is, but I think they'll have these giant areas where that are interconnected, but with these with them sectioned off. I guess almost like open zone gameplay, like in Sonic Frontiers, with all kinds of new abilities, including, I hope, proper power-ups, again like Bowser's Fury. Like I really want to return to that classic style power-up system, but within the foundation of the more open 3D nature of the 3D games. But what do you think?
It's gonna be really exciting. Yeah, I love Bowser's Fury. I thought it was really fascinating to see them sort of experiment in putting like that kind of like just see them trying out new design ideas, sort of like in maybe like a rawer form than we're used to seeing from Nintendo.
Right.
So I would find that really, really exciting. And also, yeah, I think also that would be just experimental. I think this game needs to kind of remind people that Mario, again, going back to being formulaic or not, it needs to remind people that Mario has historically been at the vanguard of really exciting, bold, kind of innovative design ideas. Because if it was just like something like Galaxy 3 or something, that would be cool. But it's like, well, then if I want Mario Galaxy 3, I can play like Astrobot, which is a great game, but a pretty like it's doing a lot of well-worn 3D platform ideas like very well, but it's pretty well worn. I want Mario to be more like, I've never even seen anything like this before.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that's what Mario's at his best, right? When he's delivering something that we've never seen or expected before. That is kind of the difference between Astrobot and Mario. I loved Astrobot. Don't get me wrong.
Same, yeah.
But it was. I mean, I made a whole video about like how like literally every element of it we had seen in the previous Mario game or something. There's a handful of which that was unique to it, but and that's not to undermine just how well it all came together. It's a great game in the end, but it didn't deliver that level of innovation that Nintendo often does with their 3D Marios, and that is what I do hope we see here. So that's why one of my other potential ideas here that they haven't ever really done in a proper full 3D Mario is make it proper co-op, or at the least make Luigi an actual character in this game, where you go through the game together. We've seen an increase in the focus on the relationship too, both in the Mario movie and the latest Mario and Luigi brothership game. And I think adding all that into a proper 3D Mario would be amazing, both because you could probably do some fun things in single player, but also it would open the door, as I mentioned, to co-op, where you have a second player that can straight up hop in either on the same screen or maybe online, and you guys can go around, collect stars or shines or flagpoles or whatever together, and have all kinds of cool moves that integrate with each other, like using Luigi as a platform or something.
I like the co-op idea, but I would suggest, and I'm not the first person to say this has been the whole thing, but I want it to be Donkey Kong. I want this game to be very Donkey Kong heavy.
All right.
I feel like there's been a lot of smoke surrounding some sort of Donkey Kong project for years now. You see his redesign in Mario Kart, his new zone in the theme park. I think it should be a really fun way to sort of backdoor in a 3D Donkey Kong, which we haven't had in like 30 years, and maybe like the first good one ever. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, you're gonna get some heat for that, but I agree with you.
For saying that Donkey Kong 64 is a bad game.
Oh, it has its fans. People who grew up with Donkey Kong 64, like I was in the later era, later part of my teens at that point. But kids who like that was their first DK game, they love it, they adore it. So
I mean, I played a ton of that game as a kid, and I was at the time enraptured by like its scope and its sort of sense of mystery. But it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, it was
always bad.
It was kind of bad. I mean, I agree. It was kind of bad at the time, but looking back, it was like really bad, I think the Banjo-Kazooie games were a much better example of what DK64 was trying to do. And it felt like, and DK64 didn't even feel like the typical Donkey Kong gameplay, right? It just felt so different from what I, loved about that series. In any case, I love where we're going with this. Bring in Donkey Kong, like, make this, are you thinking they would be partners in this game? Like, are they working together then? Or are they antagonists once again?
I don't know. I think that they would not want to put all the 3D Mario team's resources behind making like just a Donkey Kong game. I think they have to get Mario in there just to be safe. But I would want them to have it be to do as much as they can get away with putting that kind of stuff into the game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's co-op or because he would have such a different move set from Mario.
He would, right?
And that will be exciting to me about it.
Yeah, I'm almost getting some, like in my head, I'm almost picturing some Donkey Kong Country 3 style gameplay where, DK is the brute. You can like pick up Mario and chuck him around or whatever, and that allows Mario to reach like new areas he may not have been able to as easily otherwise. And then you can swap between the two or something. This might be overcomplicating it, but I do like the idea of DK being involved in some form, because that's something we haven't actually seen in a mainline game, I don't think, since the original Donkey Kong. It'd be so great to have them come together again, especially with the, I think one thing the Mario movie kind of did is it kind of made it feel like these universes are actually connected for the first time in forever, because they've largely felt completely separate. And so I wonder if Nintendo would lean into that more and, embrace that connection between the two, and including at Super Nintendo World as well, with Donkey Kong literally being right next door.
Really, it's all about that brand synergy. They're a cutthroat business at the end of the day, too.
That's right, yeah. So I guess, are there any other innovations Nintendo could do? I mean, I think open world, it's not, the thing with open world, like, I think it'd be fun and a great fit for Mario and it'd feel unique to it to some degree, but it's not like anything wildly new. So is there anything else Nintendo could do, that you think would be innovative, that if we can even think of it? Nintendo's good at thinking of things we'd never think of, but is there anything else they could do that would be like, whoa, that is something I hadn't thought of before?
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like, I'm not a designer, so I feel like if I can think of it, then it's like, well, then how good must it be? Or how exciting must it be? Right. But yeah, I don't know. Even just their fundamental kind of bread and butter level design at this point too is so like polished to like a blinding sheen that even if it's like, it would be disappointing if it's just like a pretty normal. We were all disappointed like 3D World at the time for being a pretty straightforward, pretty normal Mario game. But that game is still fantastic. Like I'm not gonna like be like too upset at the end of the day if I'm playing something like that.
I'll be honest, I would be. If it ends up looking or playing like 3D World, to any degree, I would be disappointed. It was fine. Didn't quite hit for me. In Bowser's Fury, I actually prefer that to the 3D World half. Because that feels more like a true... I think Bowser's Fury, honestly, is such a great glimpse, possibly, at the future. Because for the first time, I felt like it did what 3D World was trying to do, where it marries the 2D mechanics with the 3D gameplay, but in 3D World, it just ended up feeling like a slightly broader 2D game. Bowser's Fury ended up feeling like, oh, I can see how this will work now, where you actually had the proper power-up system, combined with, the flagpole system of the previous, the 2D games as well, but the more open gameplay of these giant worlds. Honestly, more open than almost any other Mario, actually, which is kind of crazy. Just, didn't have any NPCs or, side quests, really. It was all kind of more focused on the platforming. So I think that's where they could find a balance for the new Mario. Like, keep those core gameplay mechanics that we now know can work in 3D, but also introduce, keep the staples of what we expect from a 3D Mario now, like, more story as ever much Mario can have, different things to do in the world, and, characters to interact with and other things.
No, yeah, I would also be disappointed. I'm just trying to preemptively cope. Because that's still a good game. And also, we went through the whole cycle of, after Odyssey came out, I think we were able to go back and maybe, or at least I was, kind of appreciate the game a little bit more, since it didn't have to bear the full weight of being like the next kind of pillar Mario game.
Right.
But maybe something that'd be cool to see, maybe, is some sort of influence from like Mario Wonder. Maybe in terms of like the art style, or its willingness to sort of like kind of radically change the environments on the fly the way that game did. So I think people have been saying about Mario Kart is that the sort of more cartoon aesthetic of that game is maybe taking some cues from Mario Wonder. Maybe that's another clue as to what they're doing in this game.
Oh man, you're making me think. I would love if they kind of took the Wonder art style to an extreme. Like if they went full on like cel shaded for Mario. I think that would be kind of amazing. I think it'd be a better fit for Mario than it was for Zelda, though I loved it there too. Because Mario just seems like a natural place for cel shading to be, considering all the classic 2D style artwork. But I would love if they really kind of switched up the art style here, give it something, a little fresher. Although I will say, after seeing the Mario movie, like for me at least, I thought like their rendition of the Mushroom Kingdom was like wonderful. I thought like I actually realized it as a physical place, and I want to be able to explore something like that. I really hope this game takes place to some degree in the Mushroom Kingdom, because I would love to be able to explore a space like that. Like something I was thinking of, even if maybe a mixture of the more open world gameplay combined with individual levels that are more straightforward. I guess again, kind of like how Bowser's Fury handled it. Like they had these most, the levels, if you will, were largely linear, but the way they were placed within the open world was pretty unique. So it'd be cool, for instance, if we had the giant mushroom kingdom to explore tons of secrets or whatever, but then you came across like individual warp pipes that would take you to the more linear stages or something, or a little bit more, 3D world style almost, if you will.
They're like it's like their shrine equivalents or something, maybe. Like,
I hadn't thought of it that way, but I guess yes. I guess kind of like the shrines, yeah.
yeah, and like that too. We gotta realize too. This is gonna be taking advantage of what we believe to be like vastly more powerful hardware. So it's just cool to speculate as to how that'll impact, the graphics and also the gameplay too. Like they can do a bigger, more expansive world because they'll just have the horsepower to do it.
Let me tell you something, Jordan. Here, this
yeah,
is why
serious.
it's getting real serious. This is why I kind of want it to be Galaxy 3. Like, while I want it to be something new, and I'm sure it may even blow me away past what a Galaxy 3 could be. I do think there is so much untapped potential in Galaxy that the first two games hadn't even realized, for as amazing as they were, that they could do with the horsepower of Switch 2. On top of it, just looking amazing. I still think Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 are two of the best looking Mario games. Even if they're like technically not as advanced as Odyssey, I think just visually they're just beautiful. And I would love to see that like in 4K potentially. We have no idea if Switch 2 actually will be 4K, but with the enhanced visuals that the system will offer. And I think there's a lot more they can do within the gameplay, because one thing I've been messing around with is, have you heard of the website NoClip by chance?
Yeah,
okay.
Danny O'Dwyer, right?
No, sorry, that's a YouTube channel. There's another. It's confusing.
Okay.
There's another website that lets you look at like video game stages.
So like outside of the boundaries.
Yeah,
like
you can move the camera around.
okay,
Exactly.
Okay.
So I've looked at the Galaxy stages, and it's shocking because that game feels really energetic and dynamic. But you look at the stages, like nothing really moves. Like everything is completely static. And I think that's where there's an opportunity there, where they could make these levels way more dynamic. Where like maybe planets have moons that orbit around them, and so you can like drop off a moon at a specific point. Or maybe you can have like an asteroid field where you're hopping from asteroid to asteroid, and each one has like something different going on. Maybe you can even like Galaxy 2 had a very brief segment at the end against Bowser where you could like you hopped on these little orbs and like ground pounded them and to fight them, I believe. Maybe that could work for a whole level where you are riding these little asteroids, and I'm just imagining like all the scenery flying by. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I feel like there's so much more they could do. I mean, they could even play with gravity even more. Maybe give Mario a jetpack in some levels, which Astrobot did. But I think in this case, it would let you actually defy gravity, like maybe fly around these planets and things like that.
Hey, listen, I have so many takes and so many opinions about Mario Galaxy that I'm going to charge people for in a few months. But it's to say that, yeah, that sounds. I would love that. That sounds fantastic. Maybe it's like they split the difference, and it's like not. I don't think they should call it Mario Universe, but something along those lines. So it's not like maybe branded Galaxy 3 exactly, but like it is clearly. I mean, because they kind of positioned Odyssey as sort of the spiritual successor to 64 and Sunshine,
Right.
Like. They called it out pretty specifically to being in that lineage. So maybe with this, it'd be similar. It'd be like, it's called Mario, again, don't call it Mario Universe, but say it's that, and then they are positioning it as, hey, it's in that style. And also, hey, here's Mario Galaxy 2 on Switch Online with the mouse control to replicate the pointer. And here's the 3D collection again, but you can just buy it instead of, it's only on sale for 6 months. So...
Right, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you brought up a point there. Do you think it'll be able to take advantage of any unique Switch 2 capabilities? I mean, we don't seem to know everything yet, at least as far as the OS is concerned, but we do know it has that mouse functionality. Do you think they could incorporate something like, something involving it like they did with the pointer in Mario Galaxy?
Yeah, I don't know. Because, the things that you immediately think of when you think of mouse control are kind of not what Mario is known for.
Yeah, Mario RTS or something?
Yeah, or like a shooter or something.
Right.
Because even in Galaxy, the pointer bits are cool, but they're not super at the forefront of that game. So maybe it's something on that level, or maybe it's like another kind of like co-op thing. But I don't know. I mean, they still need to kind of explain the mouse controls a bit too. Or maybe the Mario Paint is just a mode in this. I don't know.
I mean, maybe like Mario could have like a new paint gun or something, kind of like Flood, for instance. But maybe I guess, or Splatoon. But yeah, maybe you can actually like create and design things using it, and paint entire surfaces quickly or whatever it ends up being. But I haven't thought about that, like giving Mario some just kind of completely new ability that we haven't seen. Sunshine had Flood. Mario Odyssey had, the capture ability. Like, is there another core ability that they could possibly do that would fit with Mario?
Well, going back to this whole Donkey Kong idea, I like the notion of like maybe there's like like the same pool of power ups, but they have different effects for Mario versus Donkey Kong. Like they just kind of behave differently depending on who's using which power up. So that maybe that could let them sort of maybe reinvent some of their classic ones. We're like, oh, well, Mario, it's the normal kind of fire flower. It works how you think it works. Well, with Donkey Kong, it's like an AOE or something like that. I don't know.
I like that.
Again, I'm not a designer. But.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, they could introduce all new power ups too that have different effects on either character.
Mario rides Rambi.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, hell yeah. Bring Rambi in. Actually, speaking of riding, will Yoshi be the next Mario, do you think?
Ooh, I hope so. That's always exciting because I feel like we never like quite count on it, so it's always a little exciting when it does happen because it's not guaranteed.
Right. It's not.
That would put that mouse to work with that tongue.
Exactly.
Horrible way to say that.
Just a little bit, but honestly, I think that might be why, at least part of the reason why I love both Galaxies, but why I prefer Galaxy 2. Yoshi was so well handled in that game. I mean, because he handled well, but the tongue was so fun to use. Either, being able to easily grab enemies with the pointer, which we can now do with the mouse, as you said, or grabbing platforms and swinging yourself around. Like, I love just how dynamic and freeing it made the gameplay feel, and I would love for him to come back here. I might be a little disappointed if he doesn't, but depending on what else they do here, it may not matter, but...
It's Mario 2 movie. They're teasing Yoshi, right? They had the
Good
egg
point.
at the end, and that's coming out like next April. So synergy.
Right. So absolutely. Because actually, the timing could work out really well because this game would presumably, again, we could be off, presumably come out this holiday season. That's right around where they may be showing off the trailers for Mario Movie 2, which is because that's what they did for the first time. And that would work so well as a co-branding strategy. So, because Yoshi's going to be seemingly a big part of the second movie at least, or a part of it. So, yeah. Is there anything else about the next 3D Mario you would hope for or are expecting, or have we covered it all?
I hope that there is a bit of a story. I think that Mario Odyssey hit a pretty good balance with its story, although I wish they gotten married at the end. I wish they just bitten the bullet and just
I know.
Again, not to spoil the book, but the Mario Galaxy book, I really like Mario Galaxy 1's story a lot. I think that that's a underrated component to why that game is what it is. And I don't know if we'll see something like that again, but... to get a little closer to that too, I would appreciate. Don't go full on, and this will get me more hate. Don't go full on like Mario RPG level story.
Right. Yeah.
Don't leave that for those people in those games. But something more closer to Galaxy or even like Odyssey story wise. Or again, if it's about Mario and Donkey Kong, if it's kind of like a cool little two-hander about their relationship, I think there's some cool stuff there. Characterization wise.
No, I think you're right. I would love to, I don't need story in my Mario games. I love them for what they are typically, but I think Galaxy did have something special there, as you mentioned, with like the whole storybook thing too. I actually had tears in my eyes. I'm like, what the hell? How did the Mario game make me cry? Besides tears of joy, like this is just like sadness, and that's just a weird feeling for Mario. It would be cool if they did try to incorporate something of that nature here. Even if I recall correctly, the person involved, responsible for the story, you may recall their name, he basically had to sneak it in, I think, into Galaxy. Like
Koizumi. It was.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, Koizumi. Yeah. Right. How can I forget? Right.
Yeah. Well, he's like the head guy now. He's like the big Switch 2 guy. Presumably.
Oh, right. So maybe there's a good chance. Maybe they could probably get it in.
He won.
So. Yeah, but that was probably that is a fair shortcoming of Galaxy 2. It just had practically no story compared to Galaxy 1. So. But yeah, I think for me, like when we see this trailer, hopefully on April 2nd, I want it to I want more than anything else to just blow me away. It's like, oh my god, yes, that is the future of 3D platforming. Yes, thank you Nintendo, only you could have thought of this. And if there's anything less than that, I will be disappointed.
Fair. So that's fair. That's really low stakes there.
But I'm open to it being anything. Even if it's a Mario Odyssey 2. I think there's so much more potential there as well. That especially with bigger worlds, tons more new abilities to capture. I mean, really, I think it would be hard for them to go wrong. I just, the only concern I have is them just playing it too safe. You know, like if it is like just a 3D World style game, as I mentioned earlier, that would be disappointing to me. But otherwise, I think I would be content with, you know, a sequel to anything else we've seen, or, you know, obviously something new entirely would probably be best. But you know, it depends. You know, again, something can be a sequel and still be dramatically new at the same time as well. So I'm excited to just see what the hell it is.
I think a point to what you mentioned too, it was kind of a joke, but I think also part of a larger kind of disappointment is that people don't make 3D platformers anymore, really.
Astrobot's one of the few exceptions, right? In indie games, yeah.
Right, and even Nintendo at this point is only really doing Mario ones,
right?
You know, so that does put a lot of pressure on this game. So you know, hopefully in the Switch 2 generation, maybe we could see some more 3D platformers from Nintendo. Like I'm astonished with Mario Kart doing so well. I'm astonished that didn't give them the kind of green light to do like more kart racers or like F-Zero or something. No, is that coming through? No, there was a siren. The cops, they're coming to arrest me for my takes. No, yeah, so... yeah, so, you know, yeah, I would like to just see more... Again, that's why I want to see Donkey Kong in it, because I don't think they're going to make a separate standalone Mario, like Donkey Kong 3D platformer, so if they kind of backdoored it in this way, like, that's the only way we see it, fine, but, yeah, there's pressure on this game because there's not a lot of other games like it.
100%. Yeah, my favorite game. I mean, my favorite series of games is Mario, and it's a little unfortunate that we get so few of them. But you know, because they are generally as impactful as they are, I'm okay with it, and that's why I hope they don't squander this opportunity of really doing something, you know, new or fresh or just really good and exciting with Mario. Because yeah, it is something we rarely see. Like the only 3D platformer I've really been excited about recently is an indie game called Ruffy and the Riverside. I don't know if you've seen it. Really cool game though. It's a premise where you can like copy like textures from one object, apply to another, and it changes the properties of that object. Like you can copy lava onto an ocean, and the entire thing turns into lava. It's amazing. And it gave me like that you know, flash of brilliance that Nintendo games often have, and that's what I really hope to see in the next Mario. Like some kind of new core ability or feature or power up, whatever it is, something new at its core that I didn't imagine, and I think that could be a lot of fun, especially if it's combined with possibly like a more open world that we can explore, and you know, just bringing the Mushroom Kingdom to life in a way that we haven't seen in the game yet. And I think we've already seen the Mario movie play some influence into the games. Like Mario Wonder's art style was inspired by the Mario movie. Like, yeah, we can't have these games looking like the 2D games looking like crap anymore. They gotta look really good now. And now I'm curious to see if that influence will continue into the 3D games. Not that they need it nearly as much, obviously, but even just visually, you know.
No, for sure, yeah. Yeah, and again, just they have so much more power to work with now, so I think there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of opportunity to do something really sort of we've never seen before.
Final question. I know it seems like we're agreed that this probably won't be a launch game, but is there any chance it is a launch game? Any chance 3D Mario will be a major launch title?
I think there's a chance. I think there's a solid chance. I just think that it's Mario Kart instead. I don't think it'll be both of those. I don't think they'll do both. I think they'd rather get Mario Kart out first. I mean, they've shown it already, so...
Yeah, I think
but
so.
I think it could be finished. I think there's a good chance that it's done right now. That's just sitting in a hard drive somewhere.
That's so sad we play it that way. Just collecting dust already. It's never now yet.
Yeah, just ready to pull the trigger. But I don't. Yeah, I would not expect it. I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Right, I would be too, yeah. But I agree with you. I think they showed off Mario Kart first for a reason. They'll probably be the major launch title. I don't think they want two Marios competing with each other. And again, the strategy worked before of having Mario Kart basically a launch in the case of the Switch one. There's a few months out. And then the 3D Mario later in the year. So, yeah.
And also, like, Mario Kart is just more famous. Like, at this point, Mario Kart sort of, like, is Mario to mainstream audiences more so than, like, platformer Mario. As much as that maybe pains us.
I know. What if Mario Kart is the next 3D Mario? What if you can hop out of your cart and explore those racetracks?
That would be great.
Right?
That would be fantastic, actually. They just make them one thing.
That would actually be shocking. Like a whole open world, all the racetracks are connected.
Yeah, that's like their GTA Online. Like that's like their like ongoing sort of live service component that they keep going and they keep the core thing.
Now I'm getting way too excited.
But no, they wouldn't.
We should stop because it's not going to happen. Exactly. So.
Yeah, no, they would see that as lost money. They would want two different products to sell.
Good point. Yeah, that's true. Why give away the milk? We can sell the cow. Whatever the thing, or why sell the cow and get the milk? Whatever it is.
What is 1-2 switch? We milking?
Yeah, maybe that'll be returning on Switch too. We'll see. So, all right, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us here. So thank you so much for joining us, Jordan. Where can people follow you at, and what else can they buy from you if they want to, follow up on your latest endeavors?
So first off, they can follow my work at PC Mag. Well, I will be writing all sorts of stuff about the Switch 2 in these coming days and months and years, probably. I'm the senior analyst on the apps and gaming team. Games are a huge part of my beat, so I'll have tons of takes and opinions there. Right now, they can buy my book, Video Game of the Year, year by year guide to the best, boldest, and most bizarre games of every year since 1977. It's this game history book where each chapter is my own kind of essay on what I think is the most important game of that year. I turned to the Mario 64 chapter for 96. You can see the artwork there too.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, they did a great job. So this is in stores now, wherever books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all that. And then later this year, Super Mario Galaxy, my book for Boss Fight Books, is coming out. I don't have an exact release date yet. There will probably be like a Kickstarter or something when they announce the season, but once that is available, I will be talking about it nonstop on all my social channels, mostly Blue Sky these days, which is Jordan W. Miner at Blue Sky.
Awesome, great. Well, we'll link to all that in the description below. Jordan, thank you much for joining us here in our countdown to the Switch 2 blowout. And for everyone else, stay tuned here to GameXplain for Day 3 coming up, in which we'll have a new topic to discuss. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Peace. Bye.